Are you trying to become an RCFE administrator in the state of California and have questions about the state exam? Don't worry, because in this video, I'm going to make sure that I tell you everything you need to know in order to take and pass the state exam to become an RCFE administrator. Hello and welcome to another video by National Care Professionals Institute. My name is Carlos and I'm the owner and main instructor of NCPI. We are CDSS approved vendors and we provide training to RCFE administrators, caregivers, ARF administrators, and caregivers as well. In today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know in order to take and pass the RCFE Administrator State Exam. If you're trying to become an RCFE administrator, you're going to have to take a 100-question exam in order to become one. Now, this exam is not administered by us as vendors. It is administered directly by the state of California through the CDSS, which is the California Department of Social Services. The exam is 100 questions and you have 120 minutes to complete it. Now, that's 2 hours for 100 questions, which is fairly simple if you know where to look in the book. The state exam is completely open book, and the two documents that you are allowed to take into the exam is Title 22, Division 6, Chapter 8, which is the regulations of RCFEs, as well as Health and Safety Code 1569. You can find every single answer to your questions directly into the regulations. Now, you are not allowed to bring a digital copy of Title 22 and Health and Safety Code into the exam. You're only allowed to have printed copies of the regulations and laws for RCFEs. If you show up to the exam and do not have a printed copy, they will not let you take or use any digital copies of Title 22 and Health and Safety Code. The exam is taken fully online. That means that you do not need to drive anywhere to take this exam. You can do it directly from your house with a computer. The exam is fully proctored and online. Proctored means that somebody is going to be watching you directly through the camera. So whenever you log in to take the exam in the system Blackboard, somebody will jump into a camera, introduce themselves as the proctor, and they will ask you to show your photo ID to the camera to prove that you are indeed the person taking the exam. Next, they will ask you to show them what materials you're planning to use to take the exam. That will be your Title 22 and your Health and Safety Code. Sometimes they make you shake it in front of the camera, and that is to ensure that you don't have any additional notes inside of the book that you're trying to use to cheat. No notes are allowed except for the printed copies of Title 22 and Health and Safety Code. Now remember, a live proctor is going to be watching you through the camera, so make sure that you don't cheat, make sure that you don't look phone or anything like that while you're taking the exam. Take everything away from the table and make sure that you can show the proctor that you only have your computer in front of you and your books. Nothing else is allowed, and if the proctor watches you cheat or hears somebody else in the room or sees people walking around or you talking with somebody, they may completely disqualify you from taking the exam because you may be cheating at the exam. In order to register for the state exam, it's very simple, and you can find all of the information for your current year that you're taking the exam in the CDSS website. As you can see right now on the screen, the registration process is very, very simple. Step 1 is checking the Administrator Certification Exam Calendar. You can find that on the DSS website. And you're going to have to find 3 separate exam times, date, and time for the exam. Step number 2 is emailing examregistration@dss.ca.gov with the following information. You're going to need a copy of your ICTP certificate. That is your 80-hour training program that you took with an approved vendor. You're going to need the certificate completion of date, your first and last name, a full mailing address, your personal email. Make sure that you have an email that you can access, and make sure that you scan the spam folder in case they email you anything back. You're going to have to include a phone number with an area code. You're going to have to include the date of birth, include the type of exam, in this case RCFE, and you will have to tell them up to 3 exam dates as well as the time that you are trying to take this exam. Step number 3 is very simple. Just mail the $100 non-refundable exam fee with this form. The form can be found at the CDSS website. I will put a link in the description so you can access it very simply. As of 2025, the fee is $100 to take the exam, but if you're watching this video in the future, make sure to check with CDSS for the current exam fees. To pass the exam, you only need a 70%. Now, you will know if you pass or if you didn't pass the exam as soon as you click submit. Remember, once that you finish your ICTP, your initial certification training program, which consists of 80 hours of training, either with us or with a different vendor, you will receive a certificate. From the moment that you receive that certificate, you have 60 days to schedule and take the exam. If you have not taken the exam within 60 days, you will be required to take the 80-hour course all over again. Trust me, you do not want to do that. Make sure you schedule the exam before that 60-day timeline. Once you pass the exam, it's very simple. You will see on the screen if you got a score to pass, which is 70% or more. And from that moment, you have 30 days to mail in everything for your administrator application to CDSS. What are some common mistakes that I see some people do when they're trying to take the RCFE exam? Number 1 is not bringing a paper copy of Title 22. I know it sounds very simple, but a lot of people are not told that they need to bring a paper copy to the exam. So make sure you have a printed copy before you take the exam. Number 2 is not personalizing your book, not highlighting enough, and not understanding the material. If you didn't pay too much attention in your 80-hour initial certification training program, you may not know everything you need to know to pass the exam. I recommend you that you take a look again at your books, that you study them, you study Title 22 and Health and Safety Code, highlight all the important things, and write next to the sections what those sections talk about. Because when you're going through the pages, it is very, very, very difficult to know what you are looking at if you do not know what section you are looking for. The next mistake that I see administrators do a lot is study way too much the materials without practicing how to look through the book. Another mistake that I see a lot is focusing on studying too much in the book instead of learning where to look inside of the book. If you try to memorize more than 450 pages, it's going to be completely impossible. What you need to know is how to find the answer to your question in the regulations. In order to find the answer, you're simply going to go to the table of contents, find what the topic of the question is about, find the section number, and move to the section number that you are looking for. That's going to tell you all the information you need to know. The next mistake that I see is not putting enough attention to health and safety code, which is the law. Now, while 80 to 85% of the questions are going to come from Title 22, the other 10 to 20% of the questions will be coming from the laws directly. If you can't find something in Title 22, it probably is that it's included into health and safety code. The last mistake that I see a lot of people do is panicking with the time. Did you know that a lot of people fail the administrator exam not because they don't know what they're looking at, but because they run out of time? Time management is extremely important when taking the RCFE Administrator exam. You need to make sure that you can answer the question within a specific amount of time, and if you run out of time for that question, move out to the next one. Make sure you continue taking the questions of the exam, and when you finish, you'll be allowed to revisit the unanswered questions, and whatever time you have left is as much time as you can use in order to answer those questions that you couldn't find before. Make sure that you don't spend too much time in one question and run out of time, because you won't have enough time to answer the rest of the questions. Make sure you practice a lot, use your practice exams, and make sure you rest the night before. Make sure you show up to the exam rested, relaxed, and with some coffee and food and anything you need to start the morning. If you show up to the exam and you're not calm, you're nervous, you haven't eaten and you haven't really slept the night before, it's going to be much, much harder than if you calm yourself down, relax the night before, eat well, and make sure you get enough sleep. After the exam, you will know your score immediately through the Blackboard system. Make sure that you gather all the documents required and submit your application to the state with your passing score, your 80-hour certificate, as well as any other documentation included. If you have any questions, let us know, and I can also provide all that information in the description below. If you still have any questions about the state exam, make sure you give us a call or send us an email. Ask me or Callie, my wife, anything you need to know, and we'll be more than happy to help you out. And if you haven't yet taken your 80-hour course, make sure you visit our website and check out our amazing prices. We are definitely the most affordable in all the state of California, and I guarantee you that you're going to pass the exam with us. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.